Don't you dare lay a hand on my wife. I won't let you touch her. Kicked from behind by Smith, I fell flat on my face. At first, I didn't understand what was happening. Smith is supposed to be single. What on earth is going through his mind, claiming Sarah as his wife? Sarah made a disgusted face at Smith, who treats her as his wife on his own accord. If we don't stop his wild emotions, the worst situation could occur. Why would I be your wife? I'm already married. Sarah is the daughter of the president and my wife, you know. What, but the last name? Reluctantly, I began to spell things out for him. My name is Tom. I am 42 years old, and I work in the sales department of a multinational trading company. My main job is to import and export various goods, and my department is considered the company's showcase. Since we deal a lot with international trade, being able to speak English was essential for getting the job. I am particularly grateful to my parents. My father is American, and my mother is Japanese. Much like current self, my father was an employee of a global trading company, and from a young age, we moved to various countries. That's why I can speak English, French, Spanish, and Japanese. I returned to the U.S. in my freshman year of high school, and over 3 years, I learned about the local culture and customs. When it came time for college, I had many options, but chose to attend a renowned national university in Japan. Having spent much time abroad, I wanted to cherish my roots even more. At the age of 20, I acquired Japanese citizenship. After graduating, wanting to work in a broader world, I joined a multinational trading company. I finally got the sales job I had dreamed of, and the whole world became my workplace. Time flies, and about 20 years have passed since then. Before I knew it, I was over 40 years old. Jokingly saying, "Oops, I forgot to get married," always gets a big laugh. Don't forget what's important. It's not too late to start looking for a partner. Marriage is a good thing. You should experience the happiness of having a family soon. That was when Sarah joined our sales department. She had been doing a different job and had recently transferred to our company. She is a strikingly beautiful woman with a bright smile, and she's unpretentious. Surprisingly, her voice is also very captivating, and I often found myself mesmerized by it. I wasn't the only one drawn to Sarah's charms. Sometimes, I would ask what her previous job was, but she would lightly dodge a question. I took it as a sign that it might be a sensitive issue and didn't inquire further. We started spending more time together as colleagues in the same department. For me, who was attracted to Sarah, seeing her every day at work felt like a reward. Honestly, when we walked together, we certainly attract attention. I have a mixed-race face, and I'm quite tall at about 6 feet. Sarah is fully Japanese, but stands around 5 feet 7 inches tall, making us a well-balanced pair. Moreover, she has the almond-shaped thighs that many foreigners admire, almost as if she could be a model in Paris. I don't mind when people say we look good together. Sarah seemed to feel the same way I did. At the time, I was 40 and Sarah was 28. Despite our looks, we were tentatively feeling out each other's emotions. During this time, a major personnel change occurred, and Mr. Smith became the head of the sales department. Smith is 53 and single. In our department, I have been the oldest and unmarried one, but now someone senior had appeared. It's hard to say in one word whether Smith is competent or not. He has an impressive education, having completed a PhD program at Stanford University. However, whether he climbed the corporate ladder smoothly is questionable. Becoming a sales director at 53 is not particularly fast. We suspected there might have been some issues, and we tried to interact with him as little as possible outside of work. Gradually, the nature of the unease we vaguely felt began to reveal itself. Smith is what you might call a geek. The reason he has remained single until May 53rd be because he's busy with his hobbies. For Smith, characters from animations or games are more likely to be objects of his affection rather than real women. It was a world I didn't understand at all, but Sarah showed some comprehension. People like that exist, so I think it's best not to consider it abnormal. Everyone has their own hobbies and ways of living. Her understanding seemed to backfire. Smith started blatantly bothering her. You really get it, Sarah. No one else here seems to understand. No, I don't know much about it either, but anime is a culture Japan is proud of, so we must cherish it. Exactly, it's Japanese culture. Sarah, your sweet voice supporting me feels great. Sarah must have felt she made a mistake. She managed a bitter smile, trying to get through the situation. However, Smith didn't seem to think he was bothering her at all. He kept approaching Sarah, dumping menial tasks on her. Sarah, could you read this document aloud? I think I can understand it better with your cute voice. Common sense should tell him that giving her cute nicknames is inappropriate. When another employee pointed this out, he became furious. I call her that affectionately. I don't use just her last name or first name, because she's important to me. Both I and the other sales department employees felt that this couldn't continue. We had to protect Sarah at all costs. Whenever Smith tried to approach Sarah, we would subtly step in to interfere. Then suddenly, I was assigned to a 3-year posting in Singapore. The people in the department were furious, suspecting it was Smith's scheme. However, as long as we are employed by the company, we have to accept personnel decisions. Being separated from Sarah for 3 years was the hardest part. That's when I first realized how seriously I cared about Sarah. Seeing me down, Sarah cheerfully said, "It's just a 5-hour flight. We can video call and see each other anytime." Sarah, it won't be for 3 years. Just hang in there for 2 years. I'll make a big impact and come back here soon. Okay, I'll wait, and Tom, don't you dare cheat. Ultimately, the transfer became an opportunity for us to express our feelings for each other. I made sure Sarah wouldn't feel lonely, prepared thoroughly, and then set off for Singapore. Singapore is a vibrant country with a diverse population. Living alone doesn't particularly inconvenience me. The temperature here is higher than in Japan, but those who love summer would enjoy it. I work hard to return to Japan as soon as possible. If I can get Monday off in addition to the weekend, I hop on a plane to Japan to spend time with Sarah. Sarah also uses her vacation days to visit me in Singapore. When she does, we don't just stay in Singapore, we travel together to countries like the Philippines and India. My assignment in Singapore has definitely deepened our bond. You never know what will trigger a deeper connection in life. Thus, I continued to deliver results one after another at the Singapore branch. Moreover, all the deals I handled were linked to the Japanese branch. All this was to ensure that in the next personnel move, I wouldn't be transferred to another country's branch. After 2 years, 1 year earlier than planned, I was set to return to the Japanese branch. Sarah told me that she and all the other sales department members were looking forward to it. However, Sarah didn't say much about what Smith thought. My faint hope that he might have moved to another department during these 2 years vanished. Thus, after 2 years, I was about to meet Smith again. When I landed at the airport, I saw Sarah waving from beyond the gate. As I approached with my luggage, she greeted me with a beaming smile and hugged me. "Welcome back, Tom. Are you going to the office right now?" "I want to report back today for now. I can relax for a few days starting tomorrow." Sarah and I, holding hands, left the airport and took a taxi. Every scene outside the window felt nostalgic. Even though I had returned to Japan several times during my transfer, it was always to sightsee with Sarah, so I was out of touch with the changes in the downtown area. While holding Sarah's hand firmly, I shared my concerns. Is Smith still the same? Has his attitude improved at all? Not at all. I didn't talk much about it while you were in Singapore because I didn't want to worry you. But there's been no change, surprisingly. Now that I'm back, I won't let him pull any weird stunts. I'm sorry you had to go through tough times. Sarah rested her head on my shoulder and snuggled up. Pleased, I gently wrapped my arm around Sarah's waist. As we were doing this, the taxi pulled up in front of the company. After paying the fare, Sarah and I walked into the company building together. We took the elevator to the sales department on the 5th floor. Stepping out of the elevator, I saw the familiar sales floor. "Tom, you're finally back." "Welcome back, Mr. Tom. Everyone has been waiting for you." Greeted by the smiling faces of my colleagues, I smiled back. Suddenly, I felt a kick in my back and fell flat on my face. "Don't you touch my wife. I won't let you lay a finger on her." Smith had kicked me from behind. At first, I didn't understand what was happening. Smith is supposed to be single. So what's going on in his mind, claiming Sarah as his wife? "Tom, are you okay, Smith? What are you doing?" "It's because he got too familiar with you." I got up on my hands and reassured Sarah, "I'm okay." Sarah gave Smith, who presumptuously treated her as his wife, a disgusted look. If we don't stop Smith's uncontrolled emotions, the worst could happen. Now that I'm back, it's time to set things straight. Sarah, resolute, finally told Smith the truth. "Why would I become your wife? I'm already married." It must have been shocking news for Smith. As expected, his voice went high-pitched. "What, married? What nonsense are you talking about? Sarah, you're my wife." That's when I revealed an even more astonishing fact. Sarah is the president's daughter and my wife, you know. What, but the last name? I had no choice but to spell things out for Smith. Indeed, my last name is White, and Sarah's maiden name is Williams. But that's because it's more convenient for her to be called by her maiden name at work. Legally, her name is Sarah White. Sarah said, "This is the proof," and pulled out her driver's license from her bag. Next to Sarah's photo on the license, it read Sarah White. Smith's eyes widened in disbelief. "When on earth did you get married? I didn't notice at all." Well, of course you didn't. It was a secret. Plus, right after we got married, I was transferred to Singapore. We thought about going together, but Sarah stayed in Japan because she was worried about her father. Our decision to marry came after my transfer to Singapore was confirmed. The moment we knew we'd be living apart, our feelings solidified. That was when I first learned that Sarah was the daughter of our company's president. Though one might assume the president of a multinational corporation to be a foreigner, I knew our company's president was Japanese. I heard that the company was founded by an American and a Japanese, and this Japanese founder was the current president's father. In such an environment, Sarah was raised without any financial difficulties. However, her mother passed away when she was young, and her father, President Williams, raised her with great care. Having deep interactions with people overseas, Sarah grew to love her own country and its culture even more. Since my parents lived abroad, only I, Sarah, and her father were present for the meeting of the families. Her father was pleased with Sarah's marriage, which was a relief. It seems that her father, suspecting something suspicious between Sarah and me, had been having me investigated for a while. The results showed I had a good reputation at work and lived an honest life, which led him to feel he could trust his daughter with me. Hearing this, I was deeply humbled. We decided not to have a wedding ceremony. Sarah wanted to keep her identity as the president's daughter hidden at work and continue her job as before. We only informed a few close friends, asking them to keep it secret. Her last name remained Williams, and she continued to work in the same sales department as me. Some might say that spouses should work in different departments. But we had been working together even before we got married, which had helped us improve our performance. We wanted to keep working together as a team. After registering our marriage, I started living in Singapore and Sarah in Japan, leading separate lives. However, it didn't feel like we were far apart. Singapore and Japan have almost no time difference. We woke up and finished work at nearly the same times. So we kept a video chat app running all the time while at home. Even if we had nothing special to talk about, the app allowed us to see into each other's living spaces. We could hear each other's relaxed voices and real-life background noise. There was no need to be on edge about having to talk. What mattered most was sharing the moment, which brought us happiness. Hearing all this, Smith began to tremble. I can't believe it. My Sarah, belonging to another man. I've known her much longer. What are you talking about? You joined the sales department after Sarah transferred here. So, Sarah and I have known each other longer. No, you're wrong. You don't know anything. I've known Sarah since before she started working here, from her previous job. Sarah gasped and fell silent. Indeed, Sarah had always been reluctant to talk about her past work. At first, it bothered me, but I eventually stopped worrying about it. Sarah was the voice of Cutie Pink in Beautiful Squad Cuties for a long time. I was a member of the fan club, and at voice actor events, I always secured a front row seat. I was stunned and speechless. I had never imagined Sarah had been a voice actor. Her voice is indeed captivating, and it instantly makes everyone feel more amiable toward her. Being a voice actor is now considered a prestigious job, as popular as being an idol or celebrity. A female colleague excitedly exclaimed, "Sarah was Cutie Pink. My daughter was a huge fan. She even has the doll. I did wonder why the show ended so suddenly. When I decided to quit, there was talk of finding a replacement, but there was significant opposition. There were even suggestions that it would be better to end the show than change my voice, Sarah explained. I get it, for fans who genuinely love their 2D characters. It's like their partner changing, another colleague added. I had heard that there are quite a few men who support 2D girls and sometimes refer to them as my wife. I'm not one to criticize such things. People have their ways of living, and as long as they don't trouble others, it's fine. However, to have someone like that so close and causing trouble for others was unexpected. When Sarah stepped down due to her age, I was devastated. I wondered what I would live for, but then to meet her again at the company, can this be anything but fate? With these facts coming to light, I could somewhat understand Smith's behavior. The voice actor he had long admired had retired, and then to find her in his department. Even if it wasn't Smith, anyone might feel it was fate. Sarah, looking embarrassed, looked down. I wasn't trying to hide it. I just didn't want to be sensationalized. When I changed careers, my father told me to approach my new job with resolve. That's why I left my past behind completely. Did you use your real name in your career? Of course, I worked under a stage name, but my distinctive voice gave it away to Smith right away. He came to every event, participated in handshakes and photo shoots, so he remembered my face, Sarah explained. It seems her career was somewhat like that of a minor idol. However, the voice acting industry is constantly welcoming new talent. Even when I auditioned, younger voices with charming qualities were increasingly chosen. It felt like the right time to leave, so Sarah consulted her father and decided to start a second career at our company. Sarah, it's not too late. Break up with that frivolous man and marry me formally, then you will be my cutie pink alone, Smith declared. Stop saying creepy things. Sarah snapped back, her face turning pale as she clung to me. I supported her firmly. There seemed to be a major issue in the sales department. Someone from another department seemed to have reported it to the boss. President White, Sarah's father, entered the room. What's all this commotion? I understand things might get lively with Tom's return today, but isn't this a bit much? Mr. President, my apologies, we've just found out that Sarah is your daughter, Smith explained. Knowing Sarah is my daughter, does that change your position in any way? You're Smith, right? Sarah has told me quite a bit about you. Smith misunderstood the situation greatly. He apparently thought Sarah had been reporting to the president about Smith's greatness because she had feelings for him. President, I have always loved Sarah. I have been a fan since her voice acting days. I want to walk with her in the future. Please acknowledge our relationship, Smith pleaded. What are you talking about? Sarah has been married to Tom for 2 years now. Sarah is distressed by your actions. If you do not change your behavior, you'll have to leave the company, he replied sternly. Sarah, clinging to me, vehemently spoke up. Considering that you supported me since my voice acting days, I endured a lot. But now I am disgusted. I am Tom's wife, not your wife. I can stand even breathing the same air as you. Sarah, don't say such things. Despite all this, you're being misled by Tom. If you're okay being apart for 2 years, that's not true love, Smith protested. Dad, please do something. I can't stand to work in a company with him any longer. The president observed Smith for a moment before calmly responding. Smith, you need to resign. Your obsession with my daughter is abnormal. If this escalates, it could lead to police involvement. To prevent the worst-case scenario, I'm going to separate you too. No, I absolutely refuse to be separated from Sarah. Smith exclaimed. I felt Smith's obsession with Sarah was pathological, and it seemed that the president felt the same. However, he chose not to dismiss Smith outright. Following the adage, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, the president decided to keep Smith under close watch. He moved him from being the sales director to a lower position in general affairs. Additionally, the company arranged for Smith to receive counseling through an affiliated institution. At first, Smith resisted and complained, but eventually, he began attending counseling sessions quietly. The president decided to inform all employees about Sarah and my marriage by hosting a grand wedding reception. At this event, the president and I had the pleasure of seeing Sarah in her wedding dress, looking as beautiful as a model due to her tall stature. At the reception, we were blessed by many colleagues, and the president made a surprising announcement. He declared that I would be appointed as the next president in the upcoming personnel change. I was aware of this beforehand, but I was anxious about how the other employees would react. When the announcement was made, a great applause erupted from the crowd. I stood up, moved by the moment, and bowed deeply. Beside me, Sarah clapped happily. This renewed my determination to strive harder, especially for Sarah. Now widely known as the president's daughter, Sarah decided to take a break from the company. With her age also being a factor, she chose to focus on starting a family. Wanting a change of environment, we decided to relocate to Australia. As a president traveling the world, I made sure to cherish the moments spent alone with Sarah. Thanks to a combination of good circumstances, Sarah safely became pregnant and gave birth to a daughter. We named her Emily. I might be biased as her parent, but she is adorable, and I'm sure she will grow up to be beautiful. Sarah's father became a doting grandfather, frequently visiting our home in Australia. Sarah enjoyed a relaxed life, seeming very happy. As for Smith, who once troubled Sarah, it seems that counseling was effective, as his obsession with Sarah appeared to diminish. However, his personality didn't change overnight, and he deeply mourned the loss of his obsession. Denied his fantasies about Sarah, he became reckless. Unable to love a real woman, he left the company to fully indulge in the world of anime. Once he stopped attending counseling, he reverted to his old ways. Around that time, a character in his favorite anime, rumored to sound very much like Sarah, became popular. Smith gradually became obsessed with this character and the voice actress. He attended every event, always securing the front row and spending a significant amount of money. Things started out the same as with Sarah, but soon took a different turn. The voice actress resembling Sarah was not what one could call pretty. Having seen her face and figure at an event, Smith was utterly disillusioned. He began to withdraw into his home, and his savings started to dwindle. Eventually, his interest shifted to a popular mobile game featuring beautiful girl characters. To fully enjoy the game, substantial in-game purchases were necessary, and Smith got deeply hooked. He accumulated debt to afford his gaming habit, sold his condo, and moved into a small apartment. What's important varies from person to person. Smith's choice to go into debt for in-game purchases of beautiful characters was his own. However, as he was always playing the game and participating in various events, no amount of money seemed enough. Striving to perfect his avatar led him into what might be described as a bottomless swamp of spending. Smith found his happiness in an eternal 2D world, living in dreams and delusions. Every time Smith's story comes up, I find myself pondering what human happiness truly is. Time flies, and Emily is about to turn 3. With each passing day, her charm is enhanced, and she is known in the neighborhood as a beautiful little girl. Some celebrities have even invited Emily into the world of show business. However, Sarah hesitates to involve Emily due to her own past experiences in such environments. I agree with her. We think it's best to wait until Emily has developed her own clear intentions about it. Lately, Sarah has been expressing a desire to return to work. When she was in the sales department, she certainly thrived. Our company has a daycare facility on site, allowing mothers with young children to work energetically. Sarah wants to return, and I fully support her decision. When considering her return to work, we debated whether to hide her status as the president's wife. Given our experiences with Smith, we ultimately decided to disclose it and have her work at the Australian branch. Unlike Japan, there's a strong culture of separating professional and personal life here. Sarah works freely and seems happy. Seeing the joyful faces of my wife and daughter is my greatest joy and purpose. Being a president is challenging, but leading a fulfilling life makes me the happiest person in the world.